This time on Helmets Hot Rods, we go to a parade. We break down in the parade. We limp back home, bring it home and fix it, and then get ready for next weekend. Then Connor pulls this bike out of a dumpster and restores it, fixes it up, gets it working. I'm gonna call it dumpster bike from now on.
I call it that dumpster bike.
Yeah, you like it? You ready? We're gonna get Thomas out. We haven't driven him in a while, so he's probably covered in spider webs and stuff. But we got a July 4th parade coming up in 3 days, and we want him to be in it. Needs a good washing. And there's 2 other things we want to do. It's gonna be hot that day. Make sure there's no snakes or bugs or anything in there. It's been back here for like a month.
Big spider web right there.
We want to make sure it's not going to overheat for one, because the engine is like under a barrel, and we want to make sure that the brakes are adequate, and more specifically they are not adequate. So we need to come up with a way, like an emergency brake. The brakes are fine when you're just driving around, but there's a couple of steep uphills in the parade, and if we have to stop for any reason, the brakes won't hold this from rolling back. And you don't want to roll a train backwards, not even a foot. So we're gonna come up with some kind of emergency brake. But first we gotta see if it'll start, and I'm betting it won't. You getting it, Brood? Good job.
Thomas,
What a difference that made. Poor Thomas was looking pretty grody. We have a coal hopper in the back here, like Thomas does. He doesn't have a coal car. He has a little hopper in the back, and we just filled it full of foam, just for kind of the look. So anyway, what Connor's gonna be doing is we got some big, like, I don't know, number 2 gravel, or even a little bigger than that. And he's gonna paint it black. I think flat black, don't you?
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Just remember, big, long, sweeping motions. Don't just hose one piece. Keep moving so that it'll stick. That's enough for each one. All right, you keep doing that. I'm gonna work on getting Thomas pulled in here. I'm gonna disconnect the tanker so it fits. Coal turned out pretty cool. See how it looks in the sunlight. It would look cooler if it was like humped up, but it's okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, the emergency brake worked in the backyard, but we immediately ripped out that white Ava strap that we were using, that strap stuff, which is actually pretty tough, and found out it wasn't good enough. And we had a couple other things we didn't like. It dragged too low, and it was swinging up and hitting the tire, so we switched to real heavy-duty cable instead of that strapping stuff. That stuff's really tough. We double clamped it and electric taped it and all that stuff. The basic curtain rod bar idea is still working good. And we secured it here to keep it from swinging too much, so it's a good thing we did the test drive because we immediately found a design flaw. So we think we got that taken care of. All right, today we're gonna work on the cooling fan. And we found that the inlet for the fan is basically behind right here. So we got a Napa 12-volt fan, and we're kind of thinking we might cut a hole in here and mount that fan right there and try to make it as flush mount and not sticking out the side as much as possible. Well, the fan was a good idea, but the more we look at it, after I cut this out, that's the tractor cooling fan right there. And we're kind of looking at it thinking like, well, that's a fan that's sucking. It seems a little redundant to have two fans, one blowing into the other one. And we also don't like the way the fan looks hanging off the side of this. And there's no good way to mount it on the inside. So very long story short, too late. We're thinking we might be better off just making a round tube, like a toilet paper tube out of sheet metal, and just jamming it as close to that fan as possible so that it sucks nice, so that that fan sucks outside air. We don't blow outside air into another fan. And it's just less complication. So I think we're gonna make a sheet metal duct to help guide air into that fan. All right, we got this air inlet done. It's literally just a coffee can that I cut the bottom out and extended it out as close to the fan as I could get. But I mean, that's the fan inlet right there, and it's wide open to atmosphere. We got to touch up the paint a little bit when we're done, but I call that good enough. We got everything all preventatively maintained under the engine lid here. Cleaning up wheels. We're doing things like cleaning instead of like taking the top of it off. So I think we're getting pretty close to being able to parade with this thing. That's French for parade, Connor. Well, we had to finish off the tanker with one final sticker across the back here.
Wow.
Is it centered, Brody? Looks a little off on the bottom. I think it's good enough. We're loaded up and ready to go. You guys think we're ready? We're gonna go through this parade without a hitch. That means without trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Y'all prettied up for the parade? All right. All right, we made it. We're here. It was like a 20-minute drive after we unhitched the truck and got this off and everything. I think we're good to go. We got our little flags here. Looks like we got a parade to get to the parade. Bunch of show cars here. Got a babbling brook over here.
I have big eyebrows.
You do? Let me see. Oh my goodness, they're green. You got green eyebrows. You ready to go, Maddie? A lot of waiting around in these things.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Oh, there you go. All right, we're getting loaded up. It's 11 o'clock. The parade's starting. People are starting to roll. You ready? You ready for all this water?
Yep.
Sloshing all around? Should have given you a squirt gun to spray people. You ready to go, Maddie? Okay. You ready to go, Mommy?
We are.
Brody, you ready, bud? It's gonna be fun. Parades are always hurry up and wait. Well, unfortunately, we didn't make it. We didn't finish the parade. It's very hot today. We ran for a while, and we were going up a really steep hill, and we didn't film any of it because we were kind of stressing about getting out of everyone's way and not holding up the parade. But I think what happened is it vapor locked. I think the engine got really, really hot, and it didn't seem to be pumping gas anymore. It's not out of gas. The filter's not plugged. It's possible the fuel pump is weak, but I don't think so, because after we got off the road and got out of everyone's way, we tried to figure out what was wrong. We took the whole front off and checked everything over, didn't really find anything wrong. And once we put it all back together, it started up and ran, but by then the parade was over. So we kind of made a beeline back for the truck, and we also didn't make it all the way back to the truck. We got about 3/4 of the way there, and it died again, and we couldn't get it restarted. We had to winch up onto the trailer here. So we'll see if it starts now. I bet you it will. But I think there's just no way around the fact that there's an engine inside a steel barrel. I did all I could to get as much air into that thing as I could, but I just don't think it was enough. I think it is a heat related issue, because once it cools off, it fires right up like there's nothing wrong. I drove around a little bit at high speed to use as much gas as I could to make sure it was getting it. So I think it just got too darn hot. Well, this is a bit of a bummer, but we made some people happy. We saw some smiles today on the kids, so I guess it's better than nothing. And Connor pulls this bike out of a dumpster and restores it, fixes it up, gets it working. But today it's Thomas. What are you smiling at? Don't you smile at me. Your green pants match your new green bike, buddy. I'm gonna call it dumpster bike from now on.
I call it that dumpster bike.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah.
I kind of said it like in a mean, joking way, but we can do that.
Needs a paint job.
Yeah, it's faded. Spent its life outside.
What?
All right, Thomas, we'll get you fixed, buddy. Don't worry.